Hello, CST 200 students. This is Jenny Dale, your CST librarian at UNCG, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I would approach doing research for some of my CST 200 assignments that require outside sources. So the way we approach research for CST 200 is going to be a little bit different than what you've probably done before. So let's imagine that I am working with a local Greensboro organization, Beloved Community Center. I can find lots of information about them online, and I can probably also find local newspaper articles talking about the work that they do. But if I want to go beyond that local scope and I want to do research in sort of a more scholarly library database, I'm going to head over to my CST 200 research guide, which you can also access through Canvas. And I am going to use my favorite sort of general research database, the place I usually get started, which is called Academic Search Complete. I have a few other ones listed on here that you could always take a look at, or you can also search all of these at the same time using the Choose Databases function within Academic Search Complete. But for the purposes of today and just sort of showing you how I would approach this, I'm going to use my old standby, Academic Search Complete. So Academic Search Complete, you've probably used before in other classes. It's a nice place to start because it covers a lot of different subject areas. So we call it often a multidisciplinary database. Now, if I come in here and I do a search for Beloved Community Center, I get 3 results, but it is unclear to me why these results came up. So I'm seeing 2 obituaries from the New York Times from 2010, and I'm also seeing an article about President Eisenhower and Dr. Martin Luther King. So the sense I'm getting here is that these are probably not necessarily related to our Greensboro-based Beloved Community Center. So what I need to do at this point is just change my approach a little bit. So if I were writing up a paper about some of the work that Beloved Community Center does, one of the things that's most useful for me to do is to learn about them. So I could come over to Beloved Community Center and read a little bit more about what they do and what their goals are. So I see even on this front page here, they talk about their past work and current initiatives, Truth and Reconciliation, Black and Brown Women's Initiative. For example, they talk about their democratic mission. I can also maybe take a look at some of their current initiatives. Let's see. Here is one on civic engagement and democratic justice. And I can read a little bit more about how they describe this. Beloved Community Center is dedicated to improving the lives of communities. And they go into, it looks like, a little bit more depth about civic engagement and civic responsibility. So what I could do from this point is say, okay, let me come back over here and change my search a little bit. So I know I'm not coming up with too much stuff about Beloved Community Center in this database, which doesn't surprise me because it's sort of a national level database. It's probably not going to have a lot of articles that are specifically about local community organizations. But if what I'm interested in is civic engagement and community organizations, maybe I want to see how other places and other organizations have worked with civic engagement, I can try this here, civic engagement and community organizations. I get a ton of results, 588. I can start to see here, so here's one about, this one's specifically about civic health and public health, it looks like. This one's specifically about Muslim community organizations, practitioner perspective on the community's movement, looks like a specific sort of movement. Now, one of the things that I've noticed back on the Beloved Community Center website when I looked at their About page is that they talk specifically about grassroots empowerment, and they talk about minority communities. So as I look through here more, I can find out kind of who else is involved and what they're doing. But just thinking about that grassroots empowerment and the idea of minority communities can help me do some searching here. So let me try grassroots empowerment. I may need to break that down a little bit more and maybe just focus on the concept of empowerment, because that has taken me way down from 588 to 3. So let's just try the concept of empowerment and leave out grassroots for now. So what this is maybe helping me do is locate some sources that talk about the role that community organizations can play in helping people get engaged civically and feel more empowered. So let's see. Let me look through and see if there's anything interesting here. This one sounds kind of interesting. Pathways to Civic Engagement Among Urban Youth of Color. This is a pretty recent source. It's from June 2020. I'm recording this in February 2021. I clicked on the title of the source to get more information. And if you need more guidance on using Academic Search Complete and sort of the more ins and outs and the nitty gritty, I'll make sure to link a video that will help you with that. But the purpose here is really just to show you how I might change my approach to doing research in a database like Academic Search Complete while I am thinking about sort of the work of community organizations. Something else that I would recommend, and I've sort of mentioned this in passing, is that you can use this Choose Databases feature here, and you can add other databases that have different sort of subject area focuses. So if I want to look specifically at maybe a sociology or a sociological perspective, I can add Soc Index with full text. I just happen to be familiar with Soc Index, but if you hover over this little bubble here, it will describe the databases for you. So if your topic is really sort of sociologically focused, or if you are working with an organization that does a lot of maybe mental health work, you could choose one of these psychology ones. If you're working with an organization that does a lot in K-12 schools, you could select Education Source, which talks a lot about education at the K-12 and higher ed levels. So knowing a little bit more about what your organization does, which you will from your work with them, can help you choose which research databases that you want to use based on sort of that topic that you might be interested in. So if you have any questions about this, you're always welcome to contact me, Jenny Dale, your CST librarian at jedale2@uncg.edu. But really the most important thing to remember is that when you're doing research for your CST 200 assignments, you don't have to find sources that directly discuss your organization. You can really supplement your sort of research-based assignments or assignments that require outside sources by bringing in other research that's been done about the same kind of work that your organization does.